So, in the first video, we read about how Gandhiji started the Satyagraha movement in India in three different places. That is in Champaran, Kheda district of Gujarat, and Ahmedabad, okay, where he joined the cotton mill workers. Okay, so these three places are the first places in India where Gandhiji, introduced people to Satyagraha. So I've shown the main centers of the freedom movement here in the map. So this will help you in your map work. Okay. So now Gandhiji felt that they are ready for a much bigger movement at a national level. So the situation came up in 1919 again when the government, okay, the British government introduced the Rowlatt Act. Okay, so 1919 ma, as you know, there were a lot of growing unrest in the country. You know, everywhere people had started revolting against the British authorities and the laws and the government. Okay, so now the government wanted to, get a grip of the people. They wanted to control the people. Right? So telling hurriedly 1919 मा यो Imperial Legislative Council, okay, ले एउटा law pass गर्यो. Okay, and this law became a cause of a national movement. All right, so Imperial Legislative Council was a body, a British government को जसले चाहिँ लजहरू पास गर्थ्यो र in this council we had some Indian members. Okay, र यो Indian members-हरु यो law को against मा थियो. Okay, but उनीहरूले यसलाई अपोज गर्दा गर्दा पनि British government-ले यो Rowlatt Act pass गर्यो because of the growing political activities that were taking place in India against the British government. Okay, so this was in 1919. Alright, so now let us understand what is this Rowlatt Act. र कसरी यो act चाहिँ unjust थियो. Okay, र किन यो act को against मा चाहिँ Gandhiji thought that he should call for a national movement. So the Rowlatt Act ले चाहिँ it gave immense power to the government, okay, to repress all the political activities and allowed the detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Okay, now what does it mean is that your Rowlatt Act ले चाहिँ government-लाई lot of power दियो. Okay, र political activities-लाई suppress गर्नको लागि उनीहरूले people-लाई के गर्न सक्थ्यो, arrest गर्न सक्थ्यो. Alright, political prisoners-हरु बनाउन सक्थ्यो. Okay, so normally के हुन्छ, arrest गरेपछि, okay, if you are arresting someone 24 hours भित्रमा त्यो person-लाई he has to be taken in the court or he has to be produced in front of the judge. Okay, so that उसको crime लाई उले crime गरेको हो कि नगरेको हो त्यो के हुन्छ, clear हुन्छ र उलाई त्यही हिसाबले के हुन्छ, उलाई sentence हुन्छ नि हैन, whatever punishment he has to get, whether he is guilty or whether he is not guilty. Alright, but यो Rowlatt Act ले चाहिँ के हुन्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि under this act people could be arrested. Okay, र 2 years सम्म उनीहरुलाई जेलमा राख्नु सक्थ्यो without any kind of trial. Okay, that means 2 वर्ष जेलमा राखेर मात्रै trial हुन्थ्यो. Okay, court को अगाडि लान्थ्यो. Alright, so the people of India, they knew that this act was very very unjust. Okay, so Gandhiji, who was also always in favor of justice, he was Satyagraha, he has already said, if the fight is for truth, okay, if it is against some kind of injustice, then we have to do Satyagraha. That is what Gandhiji had been saying. Alright, and this was clearly an injustice to the people of India. Your Rowlatt Act जुन चाहिँ छ, यो act चाहिँ एकदमै justified थिएन. Okay, एउटा prisoner-लाई 2 वर्ष जेलमा राखेर मात्रै उलाई के गर्नु सक्थ्यो, कोर्टमा लगेर whether he is guilty or not भनेर prove हुन सक्थ्यो. Okay, so where उले already punishment त 2 years को लागि पाइसकेको हुन्थ्यो, whether he is guilty or not. Okay, so that is why this was very very unjust to the people of India. Alright, so in 1919, Gandhiji decided to launch a nationwide Satyagraha against this proposed Rowlatt Act. Okay, so ये act को against मा अब nationwide Satyagraha हुनु पर्छ भनेर Gandhiji he decided to launch a nationwide Satyagraha against this Rowlatt Act. How was this nationwide Satyagraha supposed to take place? Now, accordingly, 6th April मा hartal was supposed to take place all over India. Okay, rallies were organized in various cities. Okay, workersहरू जति पनि छ फ्याक्ट्रिजहरूमा काम गर्ने है, रेलवेजहरूमा काम गर्ने, okay, they all had to stop working, उनीहरूले स्ट्राइकमा जोइन गर्नुपर्ने थियो. Okay, जति पनि शप्सहरू छ that has to be closed down. Okay, so because it was satyagraha, okay, let us not forget Gandhiji was in support of satyagraha and non-violence. Okay, so he appealed to people that एकदमै peacefully demonstrations हुनुपर्छ, peacefully protest गर्नुपर्छ भनेर चाहिँ, that is why गान्धीजीले 6th April मा हडताल हुन्छ. And in this हडताल, this is how people would organize rallies. Okay, we can stop going to work. Alright, shops are closed down हुनुपर्छ. So this is how the satyagraha was supposed to take place. Now, the British government wanted to take action to suppress this peaceful protest. Right? Peaceful protest by the government has to take some action. Right? So what they feared was that if in this way, if everybody starts protesting, okay, यसरी काम गर्नु छोड्यो भने जति पनि communication lines, railways and telegraph, यो सबै के हुन्छ, disrupt हुन्छ. Okay, र उनीहरुको functioning के हुन सक्छ, the functioning of the government, it can go down because of this mass protest that was taking place. So the British administration, they decided to clamp down the nationalists. Okay, so local leaders jaga jaga ma, they were all arrested. Okay, especially Amritsar places or bhayo, Delhi region or bhayo, these were the main centers where the protests were taking place. Okay, so yaniro jati pani leaders cha, okay, the leaders they were arrested. If you see, Mahatma Gandhi himself was barred from entering Delhi area. Mahatma Gandhi like Delhi ma pastu nei adena. Okay, र 10th April ma, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking the widespread attacks on banks, post offices and railway stations. Okay, so 10th April ma चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि अमृतसरमा यो peacefully protest गर्दै गरेको peopleहरुलाई procession जुन चाहिँ that was taking place, the government the government started to open fire on them. है, र उनीहरुले फायर गर्दाखेरि के भयो, innocent people like open fire गर्दाखेरि what happened is many people were killed. Right, the people were provoked. उनीहरुलाई कर लाग्यो, they had to take steps, violent steps लिनुको लागि उनीहरुलाई कर लाग्यो. Okay, so in retaliation, the local people, they attacked the banks, post offices and even the railway stations. Okay, so त्यो सबै हुँदाखेरि now the peaceful protest and demonstration took a very violent forms. अगाडि non-violent way मा protest हुँदै थियो, but now यो government ले उनीहरुलाई open fire गर्दाखेरि the people were provoked to take violent steps. उनीहरुलाई कर लाग्यो violent steps लिनको लागि. Alright, so यसरी जग्गा जग्गामा banks or post office, railway stations हरुमाथि attack हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ the government passed another law. Okay, this time this law was known as the martial law. Okay, र army को जुन चाहिँ commander छ, General Tyre, he took over the command. Okay, now what is this martial law? Now under this martial law, when a martial law is imposed, जब a martial law pass हुन्छ, under this law चाहिँ कहीँनिर पनि people cannot form gatherings, more than 5-6 people or यसरी gathering groups हरु form गर्नु सक्दैन. So it's a kind of a curfew. र people हरु कहीँनिर पनि group मा gather हुनु पाउँदैन. Alright, so this is how the martial law was imposed because of the growing violent activities in and around Amritsar. Now, at the same time, 13th April ma, a very infamous incident took place. Okay, infamous किन भनेको भन्दाखेरि यो जलियावाला बाग incident चाहिँ, it is famous, but it is not famous for a good reason. So that's why हामीले यसलाई infamous भनेको छ. Okay, so 10th April ma martial law imposed भयो, र 13th April मा चाहिँ this incident, the Jallianwalla Bagh massacre took place. A lot of innocent people in Amritsar, they were killed in this place called Jallianwalla Bagh. Okay, so Jallianwalla Bagh, Bagh भनेको garden. Okay, so this was a place in Amritsar जहाँनिर चाहिँ people used to gather for fun fair, activities हरुको लागि उनीहरु gather हुन्थ्यो. Okay, र जब martial law impose भयो, most of the people in the countryside, they did not have any idea about what is martial law. Okay, र martial law impose भएको छ भनेर उनीहरूलाई यादै थिएन. Okay, र याद थियो भने पनि अब martial law के हो त्यो उनीहरूलाई याद पनि थिएन. Okay, so what happened is that 13th April ma, a lot of people in Amritsar had gathered in this open ground in Jallianwalla Bagh. Okay, यो Jallianwalla Bagh जुन चाहिँ park छ त्यहाँनिर पिपलहरू ग्यादर भएको थियो. ओके, कतिजना चाहिँ दे वर प्रोटेस्टिङ अगेन्स्ट द रिप्रेसिभ मेजर्स अफ द गभर्मेन्ट, बट मोस्ट अफ द पिपल देयर चाहिँ दे ह्याड ग्यादर्ड फर अ फेयर द्याट वाज टेकिङ प्लेस. ओके, फेयर भनेको यु नो इट, मेला. ओके, सो बैशाखी फेस्टिभल हुँदै थियो त्यति बेला. सो बैशाखी इज एन हार्भेस्ट फेस्टिभल. ओके, जब फसल काट्ने टाइम हुन्छ त्यति बेला यो फेस्टिभल मनाउँछ. पन्जाबमा इट इज भेरी भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट बिकज मोस्ट अफ द पिपल इन पन्जाब दे आर कल्टिभेटर्स. ओके, so Baisakhi fair was taking place here. Okay, the people had come to attend this fair. Okay, so they were all innocent people, countryside bara aako, village areas bara aako. They had no idea about all this martial law that was introduced by the British government. Okay, so now this fair was taking place against the past martial law. Martial law pass भएको छ, जहाँनिर ग्रुपमा ग्यादर हुनु पाउँदैन. तर यो फेयरमा के हुँदैछ, a lot of people have gathered. Okay, so what happened is that यो जुन चाहिँ General Dyer he went to this place. When he heard about this, he went to this place. Okay, र this place was surrounded by army everywhere. Okay, so armed men यो डल्लै पार्कलाई सराउन्ड गर्यो. दिस पार्क ह्याड ओन्ली वान एन्ट्री पोइन्ट. एउटै मात्रै एन्ट्री पोइन्ट थियो, एउटै जग्गाबाट मान्छे आउनु जाने गर्थ्यो. अरू सबै एरिया चाहिँ इट वाज अल वर्ल्ड. ओके, सो द जुन चाहिँ आर्म्ड फोर्सेस छ, द पुलिस जुन चाहिँ छ, दे सराउन्डेड दिस पार्क. Okay, under the command of General Dyer. The exit point जुन चाहिँ छ, that was also blocked, that was barricaded, त्यसलाई block गरिदियो. Okay, and then open fire took place on the innocent crowd that was gathered there, and because of which thousands of people they were killed here in this Jallianwalla Bagh incident. Okay, so I have placed here a picture of this Jallianwalla Bagh massacre here. Okay, and there is also another picture here in black and white. So this is the well. Okay, त्यो Jallianwalla Bagh को भित्र चाहिँ एउटा सानो बडा कुवा थियो. Okay, so a lot of people jumped in this well in order to save themselves. Okay, र कतिजना यसमा थिचेर एकाअर्कालाई that is how people lost their lives. Okay, panic in order to save themselves, they jumped into the well. Okay, so if you go to this place in Amritsar, Jallianwalla Bagh incident भएको यो Jallianwalla Bagh जुन चाहिँ place छ, अझै पनि यहाँनिर preserve गरेर राखेको छ, commemorating the people who had lost their lives there. So this is how the Jallianwalla Bagh incident took place on 13th April 1919. A very, very important incident. Okay, now what happened after Jallianwalla Bagh incident is that the people, they got very, very angry. They were very, very, depressed, and they were angered by the actions taken by the British government. It was ruthless to fire on the innocent citizens. Okay, there. So jati यो news spread हुँदै गयो त्यति everywhere in India people started to gather in the streets. Okay, र उनीहरूले government को against मा openly protest गर्नु थाल्यो, strikes हरु भयो, clashes with the police and the government buildings हरु माथि attack भयो. So the whole जुन चाहिँ incident ले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it took very, very violent forms all over India. Everywhere people took up violent ways to fight against the British government because they were so much angered by the killing of this innocent people at Jallianwalla Bagh. Okay, now the British government, let's see what steps they took further to control the widespread protest after the Jallianwalla Bagh incident. Okay, so यो Jallianwalla Bagh incident को बादमा झन् बेसी political unrest भयो, झन् बेसी people ले violent activities हरु गर्नु थाले to oppose the British government. Okay, र brutally British government ले यसलाई फेरि repress गर्ने कोशिश गर्यो. Okay, so they basically wanted to terrorize the people. Okay, यसरी if you do something like this, okay, this is what is going to happen to you. है हाम्रो against protest गर्यो, violence भयो भने, okay, हामी यसरी नै उनीहरूलाई ह्युमिलिएट गर्छ, टेरराइज गर्छ भनेर, दिस इज हाउ ब्रुटली द गभर्मेन्ट स्टार्टेड टु रिप्रेस द पिपल. ओके, जग्गा जग्गामा सत्याग्रहीजहरू जो छ, दे वर फोर्स टु रब देयर नोजेस अन द ग्राउन्ड. ओके, दे ह्याड टु क्रल अन द स्ट्रिट, डु सलाम टु द साहिब. साइज भनेको ब्रिटिस अफिसियल्सहरूलाई सलाम गर्नु लगाए स्ट्रिटमा, दे वर मेड टु क्रल इन द स्ट्रिट्स. ओके, सो दिस वाज अ काइन्ड अफ ह्युमिलिएसन, सत्याग्रहीजहरूलाई रोडमा यसरी ग्राउन्डमा यसरी आफ्नो नोजहरू रब गर्नु लगाए. सो इट वाज अ भेरी भेरी ह्युमिलिएटिङ एक्ट on the part of the Britishers. Okay, people were flogged and villages were bombed. Okay, people were forced to flee. हैन, पिपललाई पक्रिँदै यसरी लानु थाल्यो. ओके, र जग्गा जग्गामा जति पनि भिलेजेसहरू छ जहाँनिर चाहिँ मेन इन्सिडेन्ट मेन भाइलेन्ट एक्टिभिटिज गर्दैछ, जहाँको मान्छेहरूले मेन प्रोटेस्ट गर्दैछ, त्यो भिलेजेसहरूलाई इट वाज बम्ड. सो दिस इज हाउ जुन चाहिँ गान्धीजीले कल गरेको जुन चाहिँ नेसन वाइड सत्याग्रह थियो अगेन्स्ट द रोलट एक्ट, इट टर्न्ड आउट टु बी भेरी भेरी भाइलेन्ट. ओके, र गान्धीजी नेभर वान्टेड अ भाइलेन्ट फर्म अफ प्रोटेस्ट. ओके, सो यसरी भाइलेन्समा टर्न हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ गान्धीजी ही कल्ड अफ द मुभमेन्ट. जुन चाहिँ रोलट सत्याग्रह थियो, गान्धीजीले त्यसलाई के गरिदियो, स्टप गरिदियो, बिकज इट टर्न्ड आउट टु बी भेरी भेरी भाइलेन्ट. So Gandhiji, he felt that there is a need for a broad-based movement in India, but कुनै पनि movement in India चाहिँ it cannot be organized if the Hindus and the Muslims are not close to each other. That means Hindu र Muslim नै एकाअर्कासँग close छैन भने, if they are not together in any kind of movement, national movement at this level गर्नु चाहिँ it will not be possible. Okay, so he was looking for ways to bring these two major religious groups of India, that is the Hindus and the Muslims, together, okay, in one national movement. Okay, the opportunity came up when the Khilafat issue came up. Now let us see what is Khilafat issue and what is this whole Khilafat movement about. Okay, so we all know that 1914 ma First World War भएको थियो. It lasted till 1918. If you remember, there were two political divisions जसको बिचमा चाहिँ First World War भएको थियो हैन. So Germany, the Ottoman Empire, okay, Austria Hungary, they were on one side. Okay, र First World War मा के भयो भन्दाखेरि the central powers were defeated by the allied powers. Okay, that means France, Russia र Britain को जुन चाहिँ युनियन छ allied, उनीहरूले के गर्यो, सेन्ट्रल पावर्सलाई के गर्यो, डिफिट गर्यो. ओके, सो जुन चाहिँ अटोमन एम्पायर छ विच इज रुलिङ इन टर्की. Okay, the Ottoman Empire was also defeated because it was a part of the Central Powers. Alright, so after the war, there was a rumor that now a very harsh treaty is going to be signed. Okay, so war सकेपछि peace treaty sign हुन्छ. Okay, र एउटा rumor चलिरहेको थियो that यो जुन चाहिँ peace treaty sign हुनेवाला छ between the Central Power and the Allied Powers, this treaty is going to be very very harsh on the countries that has been defeated. Okay, because Ottoman Empire that was ruling in Turkey, that was also defeated, उनीहरूले पनि एउटा harsh peace treaty sign गर्नुपर्छ भनेर यो rumor it was going around. So how is this related with India? So if you see the Ottoman जुन चाहिँ empire छ, so Ottoman Empire को जो emperor थियो, the main head थियो, okay, the main king थियो, okay, he was also the spiritual head of the Islamic world. Okay, so we had a lot of Muslim population in India. Okay, so Islam जुन चाहिँ religion को जो main spiritual head हुन्छ, he is the king of the Ottoman Empire. So the main emperor जो छ Ottoman Empire को, he is also the spiritual head of the whole Islamic world. Okay, so जति पनि Muslimsहरुको, that means the head जो भयो त्यो चाहिँ को भयो, it is the king of the Ottoman Empire. Okay, and he is called the Khalifa. Okay, so your Islamic world ko jo head huncha, the religious jo head cha, he is known as the Khalifa. So I've written here a question also, 1 marks ma aunu sakcha, who is a Khalifa? So Khalifa bhaneko he is the spiritual head of the Islamic world. Okay, so Islam religion ko jo spiritual head huncha, jo main dharma guru huncha, that is known as the Khalifa. Okay, so Ottoman Empire को जो emperor छ, he is also the head of the Islamic world. Okay, र जति पनि Muslims in India छ, they had sympathy for the Khalifa. Okay, that means हाम्रो Muslim population जो थियो India मा, they felt bad when they heard that अब हाम्रो जुन चाहिँ spiritual head छ, because he is also the Ottoman emperor. Okay, he is also the ruler of that Ottoman Empire, which has been defeated in the First World War. So अब यो peace treaty harsh हुन्छ भने यो peace treaty मा के लेखेको छ त्यो चाहिँ अब उनीहरुको spiritual head ले पनि के गर्नुपर्छ, suffer गर्नु पर्छ भनेर the people were in sympathy for the Ottoman emperor. Okay, र इन्डियामा के भयो भन्दाखेरि जति पनि मुस्लिम्सहरु छ उनीहरुले मिलेर एउटा कमिटी फर्म गर्यो in Bombay in March 1919. So this committee came to be known as the Khilafat Committee. Okay, र Khilafat Committee चाहिँ अब त्यो Ottoman Emperor लाई बचाउनको लागि उसको पावरहरुलाई बचाउनको लागि चाहिँ उनीहरुले Khilafat Committee फर्म गर्यो इन्डियामा. Okay, so all the Muslims in India, they joined this Khilafat Committee when it was formed in Bombay in March 1919 to defend the temporal powers of the Khalifa. Okay, र यो Khilafat movement को दुईटा very young leaders थियो त्यति बेला. The brothers, they were known as Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Okay, so Muhammad Ali र Shaukat Ali, they were the main leader, okay, of the Khilafat Committee. Okay, र जब यो issue चल्दै थियो, Gandhiji saw this as an opportunity to bring the Hindus and the Muslims together in one big national movement. Okay, he began to talk with the two brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, and a united mass action call गर्नुपर्छ for this issue भनेर चाहिँ they were now planning. So this was seen as an opportunity to bring the Muslims under the umbrella of a unified national movement. Okay, so एउटा हामीलाई unified national movement को जरुरत थियो र this Khilafat issue ले चाहिँ Hindu Muslims लाई सँगै ल्याउन सक्छ for a unified national movement भनेर चाहिँ that is what Gandhiji believed. Okay, so Calcutta ma Congress party ko एउटा meeting भयो. Okay, so the Calcutta session of Congress took place in September 1920. Okay, र गान्धीजीले त्यहाँनिर जति पनि अरु Congress leaders छ उनीहरुलाई convince गर्यो to start another big national movement which is known as the non-corporation movement to support the Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. Now what is Swaraj? Swaraj भनेको self rule, right? That means अब इन्डियन्सहरुले आफै रुल गर्नु सक्छ र त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले फाइट गर्नुपर्छ. Okay, in a very non-violent ways भनेर चाहिँ non-cooperation movement अब launch हुने भयो. Okay, to support the Khilafat and also for Swaraj, which is known as self rule.